Welcome back to All Day Live. It's 1:29 and there are some exciting things happening in Shakopee. Today, drum roll, we got a new name for the amphitheater in Shakopee at Canterbury Park, and our Corin Hoggard has been on the story today for us. Corin, oh, your hard hat on and everything. I love it. Oh, there, is that it? There, are we looking at it?
There's the big reveal right there. Yeah.
I love it. So Mystic Lake Amphitheater. Tell us what we need to know.
Yes, I mean, you can see it's under construction here behind me. It's going to be a 19,000 seat amphitheater. So, relatively large. That's comparable to what the Excel/Grand Casino arena has. So that one and this one are both owned by Live Nation. So I talked to some of their representatives, and they're really not concerned that it's going to cannibalize any of the business that they have there in St. Paul. It's just going to bring a whole lot of similar sized acts out here to Shakopee. It's in a really, good location. I mean, it's right in the backyard of Canterbury Park, but they're also, building this whole kind of business restaurant district right across the street. That's going to be one of the two social districts here in Shakopee. So people will be allowed to, carry beverages around and walk around in that area before, a concert or coming over to the park, and they can, come over here and check it out after they've spent a little time at Shakopee's businesses. They tell me they're expecting it to bring in $11 million a year in tax revenue and, more than $100 million a year in economic impact, basically because it'll draw people to come here probably 30 or so times a year. So that's kind of a big deal for the businesses around here.
Yeah, in that area, for if people don't know the area, if you've never been to Canterbury Park, because Ryan and I were talking as we saw the announcement was coming down, and I think we were thinking, oh, I bet isn't this part of Canterbury? Doesn't Canterbury own this? But it's kind of a whole thing that's happening there in that area, right?
Yeah, so Canterbury sold this land to a developer called, I think, Sorbo. And so Sorbo then is building the project you see behind me here. So they sold it for, I think, $8.8 million a few years ago. You can hear there's a lot of construction going on around me, so it gets a little loud. But yeah, so Sorbo's developing this, and then Live Nation's going to be in charge of all the events. And so, they're the ones in charge of events at Excel, at Fillmore, at Uptown Theater, and a few other places in the Twin Cities as well. So They're pretty well versed in putting on big events. This one, I mean, it's beautiful in there. It's obviously not complete, but there's a seating area, and then like right in front of that is a beautiful amphitheater stage area, and behind it, it's going to be like grass that people can just kind of come in and picnic or bring a blanket, whatever, and watch the event. It reminds me a lot of a place I used to go in Houston called the Woodlands Pavilion. And that was just like a wonderful place, during spring and summer to go up and see it.
Nice. Well, and if I ever need to know where to go for music or, what venue or whatever, you're the guy, because you're the man about town when it comes to that kind of thing. So you're the right person for the story. And then I think, if I'm remembering right, Corin, there was a proposal, I think, in Shakopee for a social district downtown, but also in this area as well. So do you remember this?
Absolutely. They have two.
Yeah.
I covered this. They just recently approved it. But yeah, one of them's downtown, and one of them's like right across the street here from Canterbury Park and this venue. And so that's a new development of businesses and restaurants and bars. And so that'll be cleared for people to walk around with a beverage before they come over here and hit up a show.
Okay. Who do you want to see? What's the first act you want to see in this new amphitheater?
I don't have a vote, but I will say some of the politicians who spoke, one of them in particular had Brandi Carlile in mind.
Yep.
I think that's probably a good size show. Like, she put on a show at the State Fair, and I think it had 13 or 14,000, probably the biggest act the fair has ever seen. And so that kind of would fit right here. She loves places like Red Rocks. Yeah. I think this would fit right in.
Yeah, it's cool. And yeah, speaking of that, I guess weather-wise, what do we need to know? Because we don't have a lot of these around here. So what do we need to know about weather conditions and how that might affect things?
Yeah, I mean, it's an outdoor venue, so you're going to have to deal with that. They don't expect to put on shows here in the winter. It's going to be maybe like a 7 or 8 month a year kind of venue, and that's why they're limited to maybe 30 or 35 events a
Okay.
year. But it's also something where they, can rent it out for other stuff that's smaller. But it's I mean, it's huge, but there's not a bad seat in the whole place, and it's huge, but it feels pretty intimate. I don't
Yeah.
obviously not haven't been there for a show yet, but it feels like even at the very top where we went,
Yeah.
it felt like you were pretty close to the stage.
Wow. Great. Well, I mean, it's exciting for, hopefully it's a good thing for that community and economically and also for, for those of you who want to head out and get a great show in a really unique venue. So thanks, Corin. Well,
Yeah, I will point out one other thing if you have time.
of course. Yeah.
They were supposed to open this summer. They're now opening next summer, most likely. And part of the reason they didn't really go into it, but some of the city officials I've talked to have told me, they ran into trouble getting steel. There were tariffs issues that made it more expensive and also made them kind of look for other sources to get it. And so that kind of slowed things down. I'm sure that there were other issues as well, but that was one of them that popped up that slowed down this construction by about a year.
That's right. Yeah, because they've been talking about it for a while. All right. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, Corin. Well, stay safe out there. You got your hard hat on. Just looks great. Mystic Lake Amphitheater coming to a suburb near you soon. All right, thanks. We'll see you a little bit later.